God made a covenant with Abraham, promising that he would be the father of many nations and that through him, a great multitude would arise. In fulfillment of this divine promise, Abraham was blessed with Isaac, the son through whom God's covenant would continue. Isaac grew under his father's guidance, and in time, Sarah, his mother, passed away. Seeking to secure a wife for his son from his own kindred, Abraham sent his faithful servant Eliezer to the land of his ancestors in Haran. Before embarking on his journey, Eliezer prayed earnestly, asking the Lord to grant him success in finding the woman appointed for Isaac. Upon arriving in Haran, Eliezer stopped by a well, where he encountered Rebekah, a young woman of noble character. As he observed her, Rebekah kindly drew water, not only for herself, but also for Eliezer's camels, displaying hospitality and generosity, qualities befitting one chosen by God. When he inquired about her family, he learned that she was of the household of Laban, a relative of Abraham. Rebekah led Eliezer to her home, where he met her family and explained the purpose of his mission. Recognizing the hand of God in these events, Laban and his household agreed, and with their blessing, Rebekah departed with Eliezer to become Isaac's wife. When she arrived at Abraham's household, Rebekah was given to Isaac, and their union was blessed. The Lord reaffirmed his covenant, declaring that his promise to Abraham would continue through Isaac. In time, Rebekah conceived, and within her womb, God placed 2 sons. The Lord spoke to her, saying, "2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body. 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger." Genesis 25:23. True to his word, Rebekah bore twin sons. The firstborn was named Esau, and the younger, who emerged grasping Esau's heel, was named Jacob. As the boys grew, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field, while Jacob was more reserved, dwelling among the tents. Their mother, Rebekah, had a deep love for Jacob. One day, after a long and unsuccessful hunt, Esau returned home famished. Jacob, who had been cooking a pot of lentil stew, saw his brother's exhaustion. Seizing the moment, Jacob offered Esau the food in exchange for his birthright, the sacred blessing of the firstborn. Without hesitation, Esau agreed, saying, "Look, I am about to die. What good is the birthright to me?" Genesis 25:32. Thus he traded his divine inheritance for a mere meal. As Isaac grew old and his eyesight dimmed, he prepared to give his blessing to his eldest son. Calling for Esau, he instructed him to go out into the field, hunt game, and prepare a meal for him, after which he would bestow upon him his blessing. Overhearing this, Rebekah devised a plan. She urged Jacob to present himself as Esau before his father and receive the blessing instead. To make himself appear like his hairy brother, Jacob covered his arms and neck with the skin of young goats, disguising his smooth skin. When Jacob approached Isaac with the prepared meal, his father, though uncertain, blessed him, believing him to be Esau. Thus Jacob received the blessing meant for the firstborn. When Esau returned and discovered what had been done, he was overcome with anguish, crying out, "Bless me, even me also, my father." But Isaac answered, "Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing." Genesis 27:35. Esau, filled with fury, resolved to kill Jacob. Fearing for her son's life, Rebekah advised Jacob to flee to her brother Laban's household in Haran until Esau's anger subsided. Jacob set out on his journey to Haran, leaving behind his father's house. As night fell, he rested in the wilderness, placing a stone beneath his head. In a dream, he beheld a ladder stretching from earth to heaven, upon which angels ascended and descended. At the top stood the Lord Almighty, who reaffirmed his covenant with Abraham and Isaac, promising Jacob the land and descendants as numerous as the dust of the earth. Awakening from his vision, Jacob was filled with awe and declared, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." He took the stone upon which he had rested, set it as a pillar, and consecrated the place, calling it Bethel, meaning house of God. Continuing his journey, Jacob arrived in Haran, where he came upon a well. There he met Rachel, the daughter of Laban, and inquired about her family. Learning that she was of his mother Rebekah's lineage, Jacob praised God for guiding his steps. He revealed his identity as Rebekah's son, and Rachel hurried to inform her father. Laban welcomed Jacob into his household, and Jacob began tending his flocks. Over the years, Jacob labored diligently, yet Laban deceived him multiple times. Despite this, God remained with Jacob, blessing him abundantly, for the covenant of Abraham rested upon him. After many years, Jacob gathered his possessions and family and set out to return to his father's house. As he neared his homeland, fear gripped Jacob at the thought of facing Esau, his brother. Approaching Bethel once more, he sent his family ahead and remained alone through the night. There, a divine being wrestled with him until dawn. Jacob refused to let go until he received a blessing. The angel touched Jacob's thigh, causing it to weaken, and declared, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed." At daybreak, Jacob built an altar and worshiped the Lord. Strengthened by his encounter, he pressed forward to meet Esau. To his astonishment, Esau embraced him with love, welcoming him back. Jacob settled near his father's town. Among all his sons, Jacob loved Joseph most, for he was the son of his old age and born to Rachel, his beloved wife. As a sign of his affection, Jacob gifted Joseph a coat of many colors, a garment that distinguished him from his brothers. This favoritism stirred jealousy among them. One night, Joseph dreamed that his sheaf stood upright while his brothers' sheaves bowed before him. On another occasion, he saw the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowing to him. When he shared these visions, his brothers burned with resentment, and even Jacob rebuked him, pondering the meaning of these dreams. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they tended the flocks. When they saw him approaching, they conspired against him. They stripped him of his coat and cast him into a pit. Later, they sold him to a caravan of Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt and sold him as a slave. Joseph was placed in the house of Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. There he proved himself faithful and was entrusted with great responsibility. However, Potiphar's wife falsely accused him, and Joseph was thrown into prison. While in prison, Joseph met 2 of Pharaoh's servants, the cupbearer and the baker, who had troubling dreams. With God's wisdom, Joseph interpreted them. The cupbearer would be restored in 3 days, while the baker would be executed. Joseph pleaded with the cupbearer to remember him, but he was forgotten. After some time, Pharaoh himself had a perplexing dream. 7 fat cows were devoured by 7 lean cows, and 7 healthy ears of grain were swallowed by 7 withered ones. None in Egypt could interpret it, but the cupbearer finally recalled Joseph. Brought before Pharaoh, Joseph declared, "It is God who gives the interpretation." He revealed that Egypt would experience 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine. Pharaoh, recognizing Joseph's wisdom, appointed him prime minister, entrusting him with the task of storing grain to prepare for the coming hardship. When famine struck, Joseph's brothers traveled to Egypt seeking grain. Joseph, recognizing them, tested their hearts. He orchestrated a scheme, placing silver in their sacks and accusing them of theft. He demanded they bring Benjamin, his youngest brother. When Joseph saw Benjamin, he could no longer contain his emotions. He wept and revealed his identity, declaring, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" Overcome with joy, Joseph sent for Jacob and his entire household, bringing them to Egypt. There, they settled in Goshen under Joseph's protection, fulfilling God's divine plan.